What is up? Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Thank you guys for joining. Um, Welcome to Hoops from the Hills. My name is Mountaineer Paul. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. Without football, it was weird this weekend. I trust me, I know. There has been news dropping if you're paying attention. West Virginia basketball has a lot to talk about, actually, which I'm excited about. Wait for a few more of you guys to get in here before we start moving on any of this stuff. So let's see. All right, let's get over here to X. All right. All right. What's up, guys? All right, so I'm going to go to the profile now. All right, so West Virginia's in play for a four-star guard, Lino Mark. We are in his top four at this point in time. What's up, Matthew Watkins? Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. Let's see. I'll share the screen here in just a second. Make sure I'm not sharing anything sensitive. All right. Here we go. So West Virginia has been named in the top four for Lino Mark. And let me just say real quick, Seton Hall, West Virginia, USC, and Rutgers, which is a pretty – I mean, that's from east to west coast, literally as far east as you can go to as far west as you can go, from Rutgers to to Southern California. So he's got interest all over the country. He definitely did his due diligence, it seems like, in looking for a squad. I reached out to him. I've spoken to other people. West Virginia's in this. And, man, what's up, Silver Mark? It has been a minute. I'm finally freed up to where I feel like I'm good enough over at Locked On West Virginia now to where I'm not – I was just struggling, man, over there for a bit. Like, it was a lot for me to learn, a lot of new stuff, a lot of doing a 30-minute show every single day. Not as easy as you would think, because, like, take this week for example. I've already talked about Oklahoma State twice, and it's not even game week yet. So, like, I haven't done, like, a crossover or anything as far as with another person that knows about them or anything. But point is, man, it's hard to come up with 30 minutes of content every single day until you finally get kind of the gist of there are tricks to it, So that was the hard part for me. And I had to just get over the fact that I'm not going to have some hard-hitting episode every single day. Like, sometimes I just have to talk about the roster, and there are going to be people that'll listen for that. But, yeah, so I just it was an adjustment for me, and I was frustrated with some of the episodes I was having because I didn't like them, although they were doing good. They were having lots of views, some of them, but I just didn't like the way it was going from the way I felt on camera, and was like, I felt like I was always a step behind. But anyways, thank you for being here. So this kid is good, really, really good. This is I don't know if he can help day one or not. Freshmen rarely help day one, but man, when you look at this kid's tape, I'm about to play a little bit. It's on his X profile here, and thankfully we shouldn't have to worry about copyright since it's not on YouTube or anywhere else. But he came to West Virginia. I'm not exactly sure when. It says this was back in August. Let's see. Scheduled the following official visits: USC, Seton Hall, Rutgers, Utah, TCU. So I'm assuming he visited West Virginia either before or during that stretch, and then just decided not to visit these other places. But let me show you some tape on the kid that you'll see what I'm so high on him for. Like, he's an elite basketball player, no doubt about it. I can see why he's rated 4 stars. I thought I had that turned down. Seems like I always mess that up. But yeah, there's a reason why this kid's a 4-star stud, and we got more to talk about than just this too. We're going to talk about the schedule for West Virginia basketball that just came out, just freaking ridiculously hard. But anyway, let's look at some Angelino Mark highlights. First of all, is everybody seeing me okay on the other end? Am I coming across choppy or anything like that? Let me know if I am. Real smooth, really smooth. He's right around 6'2", 6'3". And this is not the one I saw. Let's see. This might be the one. Yeah, I think this is it. Let me check this one out instead. Oh, music. No, that's not the one either. There was another one I felt like showcased his skill set just a little bit better. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, and I like the camera view on this one just a little bit more as well. All right, here we go. As you can see, he's a good athlete, but I love his ball handling and his shooting, really, and his passing are all really good. Euro step. Nice crossover, step back. He's got a really nice, well-developed left. That is a move, and I know it sounds silly for me to say this, but this is a move because I wasn't the fastest guy in the world, and for me, I was a good shooter, and I had to always pull from my left to really have a good shot. And this is a move I did all the time when I played basketball. I would drive into the lane, get contact with the body, and use that space as a separator to do the step back off of. And I got really good at it from three. So this right here is one of my favorite moves. Not this one, but the next one. Oh, I must have around it too far. Is that it? Sorry about that. I don't know what I did. I passed it up somewhere. I think it's the next one, maybe. Yeah, that's it. That's the move. I just like that. It's a good offensive move. It's a good space creator, especially if you're not elite, like speed wise. See how he puts his shoulder into the defender right there, and then hops back. He's got that right foot get ready to plant, so he can do the jump step. And it's great. It's great against taller guys. But yeah, he's a good player. Let's see, and his recruitment has been interesting to follow. From the last couple of days I've looked. He's really ascended quite well through the ranks. So getting bigger and bigger offers as he goes. So yeah, it's really cool. West Virginia's in the top four for the kid, and I expect them to be in it till the end. I looked at an article that where he talked about the different coaching staffs and stuff like that, trying to just get any kind of see which way he's leaning. And I couldn't figure out really. Yeah, he does have some good ball skills. We're getting ready to talk about that now, Matthew. But so he's an interesting character with the hair and everything. I like it, but I'm not sure. But if I had to guess, I would say that Seton Hall is definitely in it with Shaheen Holloway. I think he's such a great recruiter. I'm always worried whenever he's in the conversation. So let's check out that schedule, though. I think Ethan Bach had something on it, but let's see. All right. Well, let's look at this one. Get rid of this. Stop sharing. Let's present. Share screen. Okay. So we'll just read a Scholar Callahan article on it here. The Big 12 conference slate is officially set for the West Virginia Mountaineers. And we have something else to talk about as well, guys. Tucker DeVries was named the number one senior. We'll talk about that in a second, too. Thursday afternoon, the Big 12 conference released the league schedule for the men's basketball 2024-25 season. First year West Virginia head coach Darren DeVries will have a challenging start to his tenure, opening up conference play on the road at Kansas. I mean, that's a great way to start. West Virginia's first Big 12 home game will be against Oklahoma State on January 4th. So, as we can see, December 31st, which by this time we'll have played a bunch of tough teams in the various whatever you want to call those league tournaments or those tournaments at the end of the beginning of the year. So you go Kansas, then you go Oklahoma State. So it's like Oklahoma State was really one of the worst teams last year. I don't know what they're going to be this year, but you've got Kansas, who's always going to be one of the best. Then you go from there down to Oklahoma State, back up to Arizona, back down to Colorado, back up to Houston. You stay up with Iowa State. Arizona State has been a good basketball school in the past, but that's got to be back down. Then back up to Kansas State to about middle of the way, maybe 3/4, depending. You never know with those boys. And then you got Houston again. So you've got Houston twice within the span of 2 weeks. That's great. Then you got Cincinnati, TCU. 3 days later, 3 days after that, you got Utah. 3 days after that, you got BYU. 4 days after that, you got Baylor. 4 days after that, Cincinnati. 3 days after that, Texas Tech. 3 days after that, TCU. A couple days after that, you got BYU, then Utah, then UCF. So, the end of the schedule, I think you can make some ground up from. Now, I mean, I don't know, this could change because I don't know how each individual team is going to be. But let's say these last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games, if your team's any good at all, you might be able to make up some here in this half of the schedule rather than the first half, which is so brutal, where you've got Kansas and Houston, Arizona. You got Cincinnati, who's going to be good, I'm sure, but not Houston. TCU, which Jamie Dixon, never count them out. Utah should be beatable. BYU should be beatable. Baylor is going to be really good. Cincinnati, we don't know. I don't know, but I assume they're going to be good, but not at the top. Texas Tech is hit or miss each year, like back to TCU. Then you got BYU, Utah, and UCF in those last 3 games. I mean, you have to think West Virginia is going to be as good as those teams at least, right? So, beginning of the schedule much tougher, obviously, and I mean I see that as of now, just looking at on paper and without having seen our team play yet. Just without being biased, you have to say Kansas is a loss, right? Oklahoma State should be a win, but you never know. I'll say it's a win for now. Arizona is probably a loss. Colorado should be a win. Houston should be a loss. Iowa State should probably be a loss. Arizona State should be a win. Kansas State, I would consider that to be up in the air until I see more about them this year. I know they've gotten some pieces. Houston should be another loss because they're the number one team in the country. It'd be stupid of me to assume that to be a win. Then you've got a possible win at Cincinnati. So I'm trying to get a win-loss record prediction out of here just based off the beginning. So let me just go through it. Let's see. That's 0-1. That's 1-1. That's 1-2. That's 2-2. That's 2-3. 2-4. 3-4. we'll go 4-4 just to make it even there. 4-5, 5-5, 6-5, 7-5, 8-5, 8-6, 8-7, 9-7. We'll go 9-8 right there. 10-8, 11-8. We'll say 11-9, just because. So I'm sure I was wrong somewhere. I think 11-9 is possibly reasonable. I mean, that still sounds pretty good, doesn't it? But I would say that would be something to look for, possibly 11-9 ish on that schedule. But I would love to see them do better. But that's just a complete guess without knowing everything that's going on. So. Yeah, he does, doesn't he, Matt? Thank you. Do you think the two new guys they got recently be able to contribute at the beginning of the year? No, Mark. Well, no. As a matter of fact, I had somebody reach out to me that I can't mention, but is in this, in the situation there. They're just roster guys, you know what I mean? So there's hopes for and then I don't mean this. I'm not. This is going to sound racist. I don't mean it to sound the African guy. He's like an African name guy. I have to go back and look at their names again. But I do believe they expected him from a body standpoint to possibly be ready at some point. They kind of compared him to Sags, except way not as far along as Sags was. Sags Kanate. He's not very much of an offensive player, and he's a guy that could come along and possibly play on the defensive end for him. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm interested to see how KJ Tenner looks, man. He looks so good at times during the summer. Now that's in the summer. I've been told he's solid, so we'll see. I'm just such a big Tenner fan. I love the little short guys, man, that end up being really good. Like the Nate Robinsons and stuff. I always pull for those guys, man. The Isaiah Thomas Juniors. Not the original Isaiah Thomas, the one that played for the Celtics a few years back. All right, so Tucker DeVries has been named. He's been named the top pure senior in America by Andy Katz. Let me see if I can find it. I thought that to be real. Found that to be really interesting. All right, this happened 2 days ago. Yep, there it is. As little content as I've had, I should have probably spread these out between a couple of days, huh? I should have made a separate video out of this one, but it's kind of hard to. All right, ranking the top 12 super seniors for this 2024-25 college basketball season. Andy Katz has released his top 12 fifth-year hoopers ahead of the 24-25 men's college basketball season. Here's a rundown on each player that fans should look out for. And here we go again. He's back again. Hunter Dickinson. Dickinson, a 7'2" All-American, returns to Kansas for his final season. 17-9 and 10-9. I don't have any problem at all with him being number one. You could also make a case for him being the number one player in America. So it's obvious he's going to be the best senior. Ryan Kalkbrenner, a three-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year, returns to Creighton for his final season. He had 17.3, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game in 23-24. But couldn't DeVries pull that guy out of there? Sears, Alabama, man, this kid is so good. I might give him – I'll tell you what, man. He's in the conversation for best player for me. I loved this kid last year. What a microwave. What a microwave. Second team All-American, All-ACC guard, returns to Alabama for his 5th season after averaging 21 points. So he averaged what Tucker did in the SEC. RJ Davis, he's been there forever. Johnny Broom from Auburn, Caleb Love from Arizona, John L. Davis, Jawan Roberts, Norchad O'Meara, Kadari Richmond, L.J. Cryer, Omar Ballo. I must have got the wrong. Sorry, guys. I've got the wrong dang list here, don't I? Here, this is the article. Okay, well, here, I'll just show you this one. This is, you can see why I clicked that article here. It says Dr. Tucker DeVries named the top senior in college basketball, which technically that list was super seniors, right? So he wouldn't technically be on that list. I love the headband with the hair sticking out of the top, by the way, Tucker. It kind of gives a what's Willful in that movie? What's that? What's the name of that movie where he plays basketball? Somebody help me. Tropical, whatever it is. That's the kind of vibes I'm getting out of that. So, Catch releases top 10 seniors this week. Let's see. Let me click this link and see if it takes me there. Okay, so this is just on X. Okay. Anyway, Tucker DeVries comes in at number 4. So I'm assuming what I mistook there was basically he was doing super seniors aside from seniors, which is blows me away, really. I mean, gosh, my brain don't want to brain. COVID. Gosh, couldn't get that word out. With COVID and everything that happened with that, we've got all these different people, different ages. I mean, we're going to be playing a quarterback that's 25 years old next week, assuming that he gets a start. And I've heard that he will over Gangrel, but we'll see. But I thought that was pretty cool. Let's go back to Mike Osty's article, if I can get it to. Yeah, there it is. DeVries comes in at number 4. DeVries averaged 21.6, 6.7, and 3.7 assists for the Bulldogs this past season. DeVries has shot 44% from the field, 36% from 3, and 81% from the free throw line. DeVries is the reigning back-to-back Missouri Valley Player of the Year. Was regarded as the top transfer in the portal this offseason by many outlets, including Andy Katz. And he has 1 year of eligibility remaining and has decided to join Old Dad at West Virginia. I like how he said here, this is always kind of chuckled at this. I've seen this statement a couple of times. My dad certainly felt like this is a place he can be successful and excited to be a part of. And we were certainly in full support of that. For me to be able to come here my senior year, I'm really looking forward to it, Tucker said in March. You know, I bet if Tucker had his way, he probably would have went to Iowa. His whole family played in Iowa or Northern Iowa, one of the two. Like they played at both. Like if you don't know anything about the DeVries family, I don't know if anybody knows this. Everybody knows I've had the DeVries brothers on this show, along with Tucker as well. And I've had Tucker DeVries, Dusty DeVries, and Jared DeVries all on this show. And they all played D1 at some point in time or another. Dusty played, obviously, University of Northern Iowa. He was an Iowa Hawkeyes transfer to Northern Iowa. He transferred down. And then his brother Jared, one of the greatest Detroit Lions of all time, Jared DeVries, played at Iowa and is one of their all-time great players. So their family has a lot of connections in history with Iowa football, which why wouldn't they? You know, people say all the time, like, they don't think that Darren would go to Iowa. And while I think that there's a chance he may stay, I would be hard. I always ask people I always say this to people. Ask yourself, if you were a coach and West Virginia came knocking, would you be able to turn it down no matter where you were at? I think that's the question you got to ask yourself, because for me, I would have to be in we're going to win the national championship with this team this year kind of situation for me to even think about turning it down. Because in today's era with the portal, you can almost bring your whole team with you, you know? So, but yeah, obviously if it, that's, I always think about that whenever I consider whether he would leave or not. Obviously he's got to do well here and we hope that he does, but, There may be a day where we cross that road. But yeah, the DeVries family is so cool. They're nuanced. They've got a lot of history in sports, D1 athletes. So, pretty cool family overall. And I've really had fun getting to know, especially Dusty. Really great guy, man. He really is. He's super cool. Jackie Moon movie. Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. And I seen your comment. It's okay, it's not okay golf. You're one of the reasons I did this video today because I know a lot of you guys are. You wanted me to do more content over here, and I decided that today that I'm going to start doing more content over here again. Now that we're close back to basketball season, I can both justify and there's an and to this, enjoy it because I didn't know what to get on here and talk about. I think you said to maybe talk about the past some golf, but I don't expect people that don't do this for like a living or anything to really understand it as much. But the video has to do well for me to really do it. Like I could get on here and do some stuff like that, but I just don't know how many. I do know because I've had Steve Slayton on. It was one of the worst videos I ever did. Some of the worst videos I've ever done have been with former players. I've had guys like name a couple of players in the past. I mean, I've had them on. I'd have to go back and look again, but I've had Steve Slayton's the best example I have, and I don't think any more people watch that than is watching this, which is like if you count over on X, close to 100 people. And I had Tucker DeVries on, and like 500 people watched that while it was live at a time, So I just don't get it. It's like when it comes to YouTube videos in the past, people just won't stop to watch it for whatever reason. They're all, if it's negative related, they will. Like I had that Pat White video where, well, it wasn't a Pat White video at all. Scratch that. It was a video where Pat White, some other older players were being locked out of the facility, they thought. And somebody went on Facebook. I think it was, it slips me now. Maybe somebody here remembers, but a former player, I think it might have been Darwin Cook or somebody like that. I'm not saying it was Darwin, went on Facebook and said, the guys that built this place are being locked out of the facility, can't even get into it. I did a video on that about past former players, and it did well. So if it's negative, oh yeah, people are all over it. If I put up a Fire Neil Brown video, it's going to be good. The thing about it is, though, is I don't like to. There are some people that will like manufacture content, and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I mean, I listen. I put the tantalizing thumbnail up every now and then, but I'm never just going to get on and blatantly lie. I just can't do it. But I will try to. That's it, Todd. It was definitely Darius Reynaud. You're correct, sir. Thank you for that. Hey, Mark, he said, are you planning on attending any games this year? Keep up the good work, Paul. Yeah. Damn it, JDK. Yeah, I want to, especially in basketball. I just had a nasty foot injury that is, I mean, it's been bad. It got infected, and I had to go to wound care over it and all kinds of stuff. And it still hasn't healed all the way. So I'm kind of at this point to where I can't really wear a shoe on my right foot. And it just, for me, I have social anxiety to an extent. So I have a hard time. I would have a hard time being in public where people would recognize me. The last game I went to, probably 20 or 30 people walked up to me that recognized me from these channels. It never even dawned on me that would happen. Like, I don't think I'm a big shot. I don't. I promise. At all. And I'm not. But, people that watch these shows, they get excited when they see you and they recognize you from that. Hey, you're that guy, because they see you on their phone or on their TV. So I just wasn't expecting it, and it kind of took me and my mom back, but it was fun. It was definitely fun. So I don't want to be having to explain uh, that over and over again to people about my foot and everything. So I'm gonna have to wait for it to heal. It's like 80% healed, but it's been a slow process, much slower than I thought it would be. So thanks for asking, Mark, and dude, thank you for the $10 super chat, by the way. I'm curious. Did you stop watching me on Locked On West Virginia or something, Mark? Because honestly, I haven't seen you over there. Or is it because I changed the name of my show? I wondered if some people got left by the wayside because I changed the name of the show from Mountaineer Paul Talks Football to Locked On West Virginia, and I really did wonder how many people would say, "What the hell is this? I didn't subscribe to Locked On West Virginia," and just not even watch it. I really did consider that. I'm back on the do, and listen, listen, man, I'm stuck in my house right now, Jada K. I'm stuck in my house. Okay, I haven't been able to leave very much over the last month or so. So I'm going nuts, man. Is that a good enough excuse to drink some dew? I don't know. Not the crowds, man. I'll tell you what. You guys all know here how I live my life. I'm in recovery 5 years, and at the end of the day, I really can say this now, and I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. I lost a huge piece of myself to addiction. A huge piece. Like not, I used to be so outgoing and not worried about the crowds, those kind of things. And whew, today, I'm just I can just openly admit that I lost a huge part of myself to the addiction. You know what it did to my brain, the way it makes me feel when I'm in public. It's something I have a really hard time handling. And I thought, well, for the first 3 years or four, I thought, well, my brain's it's still healing because you can go. I did so much time in rehabs that you can go and look and see. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, brother? You can go see like how much time it hypothetically takes to recover from alcohol use, from severe meth use, from heroin use, whatever it is. How long does it take the brain, and what kind of damage does it do to the brain? And I have to say, at the end of my addiction, and I've shown you guys, I think, I think I've shown you some pictures what I looked like. I was on death's doorstep. If you've ever followed me on X, I was 170 pounds. I weigh 400 pounds now, which isn't great. I get it, but I was on death's doorstep. I really was, and I was doing meth and heroin every single day. I did it for a couple of years. So I just think that took a part of me with it when I stopped, and I'm okay with it. You know, I just have to share the message every now and again. You guys know that's part of my shows. I can't really do that on Locked On anymore as much because that's not. I feel like it's while I might reference the addiction there over there. I feel like this might become my new platform for kind of talking about it more because it's really part of me. It's part of my everyday life, like my where I come from on issues, how I look at things, how I perceive things, like in my shoes, come from that addictive side of things as far as how I've been trained to get over it. Like I think I try to use I statements. I try to use myself in situations so I don't offend other people, and also that way I don't overgeneralize people. I always try to think of both sides to the equation rather than my own, where I never used to do that. So I don't want to get on a tangent. I'll get on a tangent. This is a sports show. Glad to have a break from stress Virginia this week. We're looking forward to Oklahoma State and soon enough the basketball season. Man, let me tell you. Hey, look, we're better than Oklahoma State, and we're going to be on the road for this game. And I understand that they have a 3-point edge in Vegas. So, okay, I'm good with it, but I'm just saying Neil Brown needs to win this game. If you got anything to you, man, this is a game you're supposed to win. I get it. Gundy's an all-time great coach, and excuse me, this is usually when those kind of coaches fix it or turn it around. But man, defensively, they're bad. They're worse than we are, statistically speaking. And you look about who we played. I think we played better competition than they have besides K State. You can make an argument K State definitely better than Pitt, but Penn State's probably, I would consider K State. I think K State could probably hang with Penn State a little bit. Don't forget to drop in a like and share. I appreciate that, Randy Savage. I love that name, Randomly Savage. Tanner Tracks Premier, thank you, man. $10 super chat, much appreciated. God bless Paul and love your show. Thanks for being a loyal Mountaineer and good luck on your sobriety. Thank you very much. It means a whole lot. Very, very grateful. Yeah, that's a big part of me. Appreciate you mentioning that. And I appreciate the non-judgment you guys have always given me. I'm sure there are some people that don't like it. Actually, I've been criticized that I talk about it too much by some people. Some people, because they think I use it for sympathy, which I don't. I try to use it to empower people. It's because, I have several people that have reached out and told me, like, hey, I suffer from the same kind of things as you do. And, the message helps. Like I can sum it all up. Like, as an addict, I was as hopeless as you can possibly get. I was. I didn't start using it until I was 21, almost 22. But that was a 13-year run into where I went from smoking weed to snorting Oxycontin literally within a week. That's how fast my progression was. I was just a pin-up addict and didn't know it. I look back now and I see all the signs. I realize, I was an addict. I didn't know that, Like there were signs, but I didn't realize it. And then obviously once you start doing that kind of stuff, you get in trouble, and there we go from there. It was a 13-year run that just made me homeless twice, and went to prison 4 times, and went to rehab 12 times. It took a lot of pain and suffering for me to get it, quote unquote. So I like to share my message out and say, and there's stuff I haven't told you guys, stuff that I suffer from that I feel like is just going a little bit too far. But just know that, when they tell you when you go out there and you use, there's stuff that Ajax can't wash off. That's a very true statement, and I'm living proof. Luckily, I can still live my life. Tyler Cobb, if Neil will let Garrett control the offense with no restrictions, we will go and win. But for whatever reason, he has been restricting GG, and it hurts us. Sorry to be bringing up football. It's okay, man. Look, at the end of the day, I'm going to be changing this channel to a both. I just need to do it. I've been putting it off on the Hoops channel. I've been putting it off. I need to make this both anyway. I just do. Because the Locked On West Virginia stuff is 30 minutes a day and I got to come up with these topics. And, I need to have a channel where I can, if I need to talk about something for just a couple of minutes, because their episodes are basically required 30 minutes. So I have to figure out on here how to, and I will. I just need to do it. I've been putting it off because of the foot and everything. But I'm gonna convert this channel into something you guys will be proud of. I just have to sit down and actually go through the process and do it. So I'll probably do that this week because I'm finally back to a spot where my foot's better and everything. But I've heard a lot of people say that this week, Tyler, and I think you and I went back and forth in a comment section a little bit. Maybe it wasn't you, but I've heard a lot of people say, and maybe I just need to do a episode on actually a good idea for an episode over on Locked On West Virginia. Scoops on the hill. Mark's always coming up with creative stuff. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. And it kind of, there's something else I thought about leaning into. I don't care to be a West Virginia centric channel, but I think having the West Virginia in my name, like over on the other one, it's got to be that way. But before it was Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, And I always felt like, I wonder if that scares people who are fans of other teams away. Because I feel like maybe this channel needs to be named something a little bit more neutral, even though I'm going to talk about West Virginia stuff. Thought about naming it as something a little bit more neutral so that fans that maybe don't like West Virginia can come in but fall in love with us, because we'll be good to them here. It's not like, if somebody is a Virginia Tech fan, we might give them hell, but it's not like we're going to be outright mean to them. We accept anybody that wants to come in here. But yeah, as far as to what you were saying, Tyler, I would like to do an episode on this, and I could rant about it for a while, but I've heard a lot of people say we need to go to the 2-minute drill for Garrett Green this week. And I just don't fully agree with it because I feel like Neil answered it, and people aren't satisfied with the answer. I think we should do it more. Let me say that. Uh-oh, my camera. Sorry about that. Guys. I accidentally clicked the camera off. But I think we should do it more. I do. But hear me out. Because I think Neil explained it, and people just don't like the explanation, what he said. If we were a Dana Holgorsen-esque or Gus Malzahn-esque offense where we ran plays every 7 to 10 seconds, right? It might be better for Garrett. I'm not saying that it's not. But people would eventually get answers to that. They don't, when people like just like Neil said, I just felt like it was a good answer. When people prepare for West Virginia, they don't prepare for the 2-minute or the fast-paced offense. They prepare for a slow-paced offense, and they prepare for a running quarterback and 2 really good running backs and a good offensive line and shot plays. If we convert it into a fast-paced offense, then that's what people would prepare for and not the other stuff as much. And then there's also the aspect of we have a bad defense, and running more plays means more plays if you go 3 and out, or if you score quickly, that means the defense is on the field more. And you're going to get yourself into some spots where, do you really feel like this team can outscore people, or do you think it's better trying to control the clock? It's a good question, right? And I don't know the answer to this yet, but this week against Oklahoma State, with their defense, I would rather try to control the clock and just do it like that. But then again, I'm not a professional, and I'm up for a debate on it. But I've heard a lot of people say we should go 2 minutes, and I just don't know about that. I think that's easy to say because we've scored easily on the 2-minute drill with Garrett like 4 or 5 different times, and we have. But that's why you practice 2-minute drill. Those were all 2-minute drill situations. So I don't know. I just don't think it's as easy as just do 2-minute and you're going to score wherever you want now. But maybe move it a little bit faster. I don't know. Maybe it would be better. I would like to see. They've had 2 weeks to prepare for Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State coming into yesterday, this is before Kansas State had 200 rushing, 200 passing on them in the third quarter. I don't even know how it finished. They had the last ranked defense coming into that game. I'm sure it's got to be the worst by a lot now. And I'm sorry, but I just feel like we can move it on them next week. We should be able to. And both their linebackers got hurt. It's a mess. I agree. However, you should go watch Fox on West Virginia Mountaineers sports episode about that. The premise was so what? If the defense already sucks, the only way we will beat teams anyway is points. Might as well go with the offense that is scoring us points, which is when GG has full control of the offense and it's hurrying up using his legs. I just don't agree with that premise. Good for Fox. And I would debate him on it, but we have a good front seven. We do. We have a good front seven. I think that the linebackers have struggled in pass coverage, which my biggest issue with this concept is you're trying to throw something away 4 games into the season, and you've got a brand new back end. You've got brand new linebackers. Josiah Trotter and Trey Lathan have both started a total of 4 games because, as we know, Trotter started 0 games for this year, and Trey started 4 games last year. Coming into this year, those were your 2 starting linebackers. Reed got hurt. And so you're asking a brand new back end, 2 linebackers to get acclimated within 4 games. Oh, it's not working. We might as well do fast paced offense the entire time. That's the conclusion he came to right there. And I'm just saying, look, they've got 2 weeks. They've had 2 weeks to try to fix some stuff leading into this Oklahoma State game. Why don't we give them more than 4 games to see if they can fix anything? Because you making wholesale changes in the middle of the season has never worked out for anybody. It just rarely, I won't say never, rarely. That's my opinion. And if it doesn't work this week against the worst defense in the league and a guy with a stationary quarterback, you got me. Because we have been, if any of the quarterbacks we played were stationary, we would lead the country in sacks. We've been getting back there, and I think we will this week. Mark's still thinking of names for the show. Anyway, that's just my view on it, Tyler. Yeah, and the offense is probably, it may score a little bit more, but here's my thing. Go look at the last 3 games and tell me the scores of the games. Somebody go look. Are we scoring 12 points a game that I don't know about? Let me just go look. Maybe I'm wrong here. Let's see. Okay, so we've scored 38. We've scored, let's see. We scored 12 in the opener, which that was listen, there's a lot of factors for that. But I didn't think that was a good representation of who we were that day. There was a lot of factors, the nerves and everything. I felt like that was a bad overall performance, and Penn State's really good on defense. They had Illinois to 7 points yesterday. They're just that good. But 49, 38, 32 are the last 3 games. So you're averaging right around 35 points a game in the last 3 games. Is the offense the problem? I just don't see it as much. I totally get your point, Tyler. That's not the problem as much, And we're doing that, keep in mind, with a slow-paced offense. So if we did run a faster-paced offense, yeah, we'd probably score a few more points, but teams would have more plays. We would probably be giving a team another 20 plays a game or something. You get up into the 70s and 80s in plays per game when you got 2 teams that do that, which next week won't be one of those kind of games. But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just to the point to where I want Neal to give Gigi control, and he won't. All season it looks like Neal doesn't trust him, but why? He's proven he makes good plays in the big moment. Listen, I get you on that. There are times when I say I feel like Neal has held him back some. You're right. But the overall results, as far as how many points we're scoring per game, really can't be criticized too much. Although there are times when the offense sputters and stops for points at a time whenever you can't figure out why. And those are times where I agree with you. Like, why is this happening? But this game, this offense is predicated 100% on what it does on first down. If this is the kind of team, if you get behind the chains on first down, this is most teams, but especially this team with a quarterback that either needs to run with the ball or is making one read or throwing shot plays, it's just tougher, right? Because Garrett's not the kind of player that can do that as much. He's not going to read the field as much. So, but yeah, I get what you're saying on that too, as far as Garrett goes. This has turned into a football show. Contextless statistics are the downfall of humanity, or at least in this case, Neil Brown's coaching career at WVU. Yeah, I get it. I'm just not ready to give up on the season, though. Like for me to go to the point to where I just, I just can't 4 games in when we're 2-2 and 1-0 in the conference. Like I need it to be over with, as the way I work. I need it to be in my face, like you're done, before I'll go to that point. And if it gets there, I will, and then we'll talk about it. But I'm just one of those fans, like I'm one of those people. I don't go to the doctor that much because I don't want to know what's wrong. Similarly with this, as long as we're still in it, even if our defense is bad and it's broken, I don't want to know. I just want to have hope that we can still win it. It's better for me that way. When I see the football team's record, are we still talking football? Well, I think we're going to get the win. I think it's totally logical to think we can beat Oklahoma State now after what we've seen. I really do. So I'll pick us to win this Saturday, even though I haven't done any of my previews yet. I still need to look at some stuff, but I talked to a guy, Pistols Guys. He's been on the show a few times. He's got like 40,000 followers over there. He's really follows the team tough. And I've said this a couple times. Oklahoma State's doing something right now that I never thought would be replicated, and that's start 5 6-year seniors on the offensive line. They start 5 super seniors on the offensive line. And I thought just preseason, like, holy crap, because based on what they did last year, when Ollie Gordon had almost 2,000 yards rushing, I said, it's over for everybody. How's anybody going to stop it? That'd be like us bringing Zach back this year and Doug, It'd be the same thing, really, in a lot of ways, along with Wyatt and Tomas on the left side. So I'm thinking, how the hell is nobody going to stop them? And then they just haven't been able to do anything. So people are saying Bowman beat us. And last year, Bowman did beat us, if you'll remember. So that's something to consider. But I'll go Oklahoma State win. I'll say we lose to Iowa State, which will be our first loss in the conference. We're at home, which we're going to be at home. There's going to be a lot of emotions in that game, and Iowa State has been really good. They beat Iowa. They've got Rocco. They've got 2 NFL receivers. They've got a good defense. And then K-State is at home. I'm going to say we get an upset finally in one of these 2 games and just hope that we do. I get it. If you're making me put money on it, I'll pick us to lose these 2 games. I'll pick us to lose. But then I think we win Arizona, Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, and Texas Tech. I think it's out there for us to do something special if we can get through this 3-game stretch. That's what I was going to do a video on this week. Like, people don't realize how close we are to actually being in this race. If we can beat Oklahoma State, that means you are a win against either Iowa State and Kansas State away from really being in the race. I get it. Arizona on the road, no gimme. No gimme at all. But they've been shown to be really beatable. So if you can beat Oklahoma State and somehow Iowa State or Kansas State it, whichever one, at home, you should be able to do it with this team. Should be able to. Then you've got Arizona, Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, and Texas Tech to end the season, all of which are beatable. So that's not your question, and you want to know the record prediction. So I'll go I think we end up losing 2, possibly 3 on this. I'll say we beat Oklahoma State, we lose to Iowa State, we lose to Kansas State, we beat Arizona. I'll pick us to beat Arizona for now. I think we beat Cincinnati on the road, Baylor, UCF, and Texas Tech. I'll say we lose. I'll say we lose two more games. How about that? Maybe 3. It's really tough, for me to, as a fan, to do this because I don't want to say we're going to lose any games, but I'm just being honest with you up front. I would expect that's what you want out of me. So we're 2-2. That would make us 3-2, 3-3. or 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 3-4, 4-4, 5-4, 6-4, 7-4, 8-4. Uh, I mean, it's the same as earlier. Although I can see that, I would probably think 7-5 is more likely. Like if you told me we finished 7-5, that would sound pretty believable. If I'm dreaming a little bit, which I am dreaming just a little bit. I'll say, tell me why we can't beat Oklahoma State next week, okay? And then we've owned Iowa State not as much as Kansas State, although we have had some streaks against either in the series. Tell me why we can't win one of those games. So that puts us at one conference loss. You can win the league with one conference loss, right? So let's make it against Iowa State, I guess. And then we beat Kansas State the next week at home, right? So that's 3-2, 3-3. We're 4-3. And then all of a sudden you go on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game run to end the season. That's not bad. That's 9 wins, right? And you're in the conversation for the Big 12, and you're in the conversation for a playoff, right? As long as you don't get – at this point, K-State seems like a tough team to beat. But, I mean, last week they seemed beatable as hell, so I don't know. Actually, you know what, Tosh? I have. It's been growing quickly. We're getting right around 60, 50, 60 a week right now, something like that. So it's not terrible. I'm right there with you. There isn't a game on the schedule that isn't winnable, but the defense has to improve. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it 100%. And obviously, this is a more biased view on the schedule, obviously. Somebody that is looking at this thing completely and totally objectively and how we played so far can say, well, we're probably going to lose on the road at Oklahoma State. That's like a pick 'em game there. They're going to lose the next two as well. They probably lose on the road at Arizona and then figure out a way to pull it off in November because Neil Brown's record in November for some reason is ridiculous. Have you guys actually looked at Neil Brown's November record? It's good. It's good the last couple of years. So if you want to look at it from another angle, we probably need this game this week badly if you're just looking at sheer bowl eligibility. So you've already put yourself behind the 8 ball at 2-2 a little bit. You win this game, you've got 3 games, but then you come up on a stretch of 3 games that probably a lot of people are going to pick you to lose, including Arizona on the road. That means you've got to win possibly all 4 of these in a row to even become bowl eligible. We might be in a situation where we lose Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Arizona all in a row and have to win these last 4 to even become bowl eligible. That's a whole other part of this that I don't want to see happen. As my friend says, if we score points, we will win the game. Yeah. And that's what's so frustrating. And it almost seems like it's 95% of the confidence slash swag slash belief thing. It has a lot to do with momentum. It does. Which is why last week was big for us. We beat a Kansas team that obviously isn't very good after the TCU showing. Neil said in his press conference, I think Kansas's record is going to show what they are after the year. Well, unfortunately, they're not showing it yet. So appreciate you guys, man. You guys, there's 94 of you guys watching. Most of you are over on X. Hey, X people. Let me see if I can. I've never tried this before, but how does that work? I wonder. If I click on myself, Okay, there we are. There's a chat box opening right there. Can you guys see this? Over on X, it says there's 70 people. Can anybody see me type in there that says, hey? I think it's behind, by the way, quite a bit behind. But if you can, over on X, I'm in the chat right there. Apparently, you can chat with me. I just didn't realize it. Um, Try to share this out. Hit the retweet button, copy, share, whatever you got to do. I'd appreciate that. All right. Oh, wow. That actually came to me from X over here. So it does connect. Interesting. Wow. I wonder how come of all the people that I see on X every time I watch this, I never get any comments from over there. If you guys type in the chat box, it actually comes to me over here, which is pretty interesting. Um, I don't know what you're watching this on or how, but uh, if you click on the logo, the big MP, it will bring you into a little chat area, and you can actually type in there. Um, yeah, and you can actually talk to me on here. So up to you. But it just kind of confuses me as to why. Literally, I've had hundreds of people at a time in there at a time, and I never get one comment. So it kind of confuses me. It's like, is anybody really watching? Because it tells me there's like 100 people in there right now. So I don't know. Like if there's 100 people in there right now on X watching this, can somebody message me and let me know that like you're hearing this? I don't. It's blowing me away. I don't get it. But yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, I am at Paul Mountaineer on X. Thank you guys for joining today. Really appreciate it. The premise of this video was Lino Mark has announced WVU in his top four. Pretty exciting stuff. He's a really, really good player. I consider 4-star player. And West Virginia's right there in the mix. So we watched some highlights of him. If you want to check the beginning of the video, really, really good player, guys. So go check that out if you get time, and be looking for me on Locked On West Virginia. If you're not subscribed over there, get over there and subscribe to Locked On West Virginia. A lot of people um, enjoying that show right now and really putting a lot of effort into it. So thank you, Matthew, Tyler, Mark, uh, Mr. Golf, Tyler Cobb. I think I said Mark already. Tanner's Tracks Premier, Randomly Savage, Tosh, Jada K, everybody. Thank you guys for joining me today on this episode of Locked On or Hoops from the Hills. I will be doing more of these in the coming days. Just any kind of news. They might only be pre-recorded videos, but I'll be doing videos. I think that's probably going to how I'm going to have to do it from here. See, it'll says down in the bottom corner if it's from X, but I'm not getting any of those. But to figure out why that is. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like I said, and we'll see you next time. Appreciate everybody. Tyler Cobb, I say we take the meal that Pat donated and offer Ryan Williams one big old check. Yeah, that'd be great. He's a great player. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your weekend. So hope you're both safe from weather and getting the rain you need. Absolutely, Mr. Golf or Mrs. Golf. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. I got plenty of locked on stuff going on tomorrow, so we'll be talking about Oklahoma State all week and why I think West Virginia can win that game. So we'll see you there. Good night, guys. Let me play my little outro video for you.